Okay, so growing up with a single mother and a grandmother back in Greenville, it was very new to me, really. I mean, because there were so many things in this world that were just new to me, such as the house I was living in, the people I was staying with. Growing up, I had no idea that I was autistic. I knew that I was different, but I didn't let that affect my childhood. So how I saw my childhood is kind of similar to how like an astronaut would visit a planet to to study its resources. Picture this. You're on a spaceship traveling to a new planet. You land on the planet, the doors open, and you see a new environment. Everything is different. The ground is different, the sky is different, the environment is different, and you see some items here that are just very interesting. As a scientist, you would analyze these items. You would spend days, weeks, months, and even years studying this object and why it works that way. This can apply to a person on the spectrum as they are interested by anything they find interesting. For me, during my childhood, an object that I found to be very interested and that I became obsessed with even today is cars. I used to play with toy cars when I was little, and I was more obsessed with how the car was structured, how they made the wheels roll, and what the car was like, and how the car was based off of. That I had that hyperfixation or obsession since I was little. So if you would apply the theory of an astronaut to an autistic individual as they explore new environments, that's how it would make a little sense. Now, when I started middle school, I learned a few things about who I am as a person. For one, back then, I didn't really know how to socialize with other kids, whether it was boys or girls, but I did come to a conclusion that I wasn't like other boys. And I always felt that I was different. I kind of felt that I was kind of like maybe a superhero or an individual from another country starting a new life in a new town in a new country, because everybody had to abide by these rules called social norms where you had to follow them. Apparently, in middle school, the popular kids were the most respected people, and from the way I see it, when I analyze them, just how they treat others, how they treat me, and how they study, it just gave me the impression that they're not the kind of people that I would respect or want to hang out with. So typically, when you're young, you would need someone to tell you that these aren't the kind of kids that you want to hang out with or to be with. But sometimes people learn that a little later in life. But for me, I learned that when I was maybe 12 or 13 years old. And I was kind of curious to why that is. I thought that was part of my humanity as an autistic person, but it was just because I was a little more advanced for my age. Because growing up, I've always been a rule follower, and I've always taken things seriously. Now, getting on to social communication, I want you to think of a superhero, and any superhero, whether it's Superman or Batman, Wonder Woman or Green Lantern. What those superheroes have in common is that they have two identities. One identity is their civilian identity, where they're known by the public by their first and last name. For instance, Bruce Wayne is known, for instance, Batman is known as Bruce Wayne, his civilian identity, and he has a regular job like everyone else does, and that's who he's referred to when he's not wearing the mask. And his superhero identity, like I just said, is Batman, where he's known as a superhero dressed in a bat superhero suit. How this would apply to an autistic person is sometimes it can be hard to socialize with other kids. That's why we adapt to this behavioral trait called masking. Masking is where we analyze the other behavior of someone who is viewed as normal, and we try to copy that, and we try to copy that person in order to fit in. So basically, applying this to my superhero theory, it's like putting a mask on when you're in public and taking the mask off when you're in the privacy of your home. And one thing about being on the autism spectrum is that we're not afraid to be who we truly are, but sometimes we have to realize that people don't see us the same way that our loved ones see us. So even though it is a lie to yourself to pretend to be someone else, it's a coping mechanism that we do in order to survive in this world, as society can be cruel. Um, One little saying that I had to live by growing up in middle school that was both accurate and sad is that the world wants us to fit in, and to fit in, we have to be like everybody else, and that's sadly true, and that's sad, and that's sad because we want to live in a society where we're not cruelly judged based on how different we are. So my negative experiences in middle school has did damage me. It caused me to be like quiet and reserved and private in my life. I mean, some people typically are open about every aspect of their life, but that's not me. I tend to keep things just to myself. But when I got to high school, when I started my years of college, I learned how open people were to people on the autism spectrum and to other individuals who are diverse and disabled. And when I started high school, I kind of started to identify with other students who were kind of like me but different. One person I can remember who was a very good influence on me. This person was a member of the LGBTQ community, and this person was spectacular. She was proud of her sexuality. She wasn't burdened by those who didn't accept who she is. And this person even allowed me to ask myself who I am as a person. And in doing so, I learned some things about myself that I didn't really know. For one, I love to write. For one, I love to use creativity to explain my life, like I just did right now. And I even realized that I was a member of the LGBTQ community myself. I decided to become an ally of the community, and I'm even proud to be an asexual person. And this applies to my talk, because one thing that didn't make sense to me is just how people interact with one another and how they are like intimate with other people. I mean, just how they show love, how they're affectionate. I mean, because as an autistic individual, I kind of find it hard to show affection. So learning that I was asexual gave me an answer to my feelings as a person. But even though I'm defined by these labels, autistic, black, and asexual, I don't see these labels as who I am as a person in general. It's just part of who I am. I mean, people have said that I am popular or famous or such since I'm well liked on campus, but honestly, I'm not like popular or famous. I'm just me, is all, and that's how I choose to see myself. That's why every day when I wake up and I look at myself in the mirror, I don't say I'm black, I'm autistic, I'm asexual. I get up and I say I'm Matthew Wooten. I I am brave, I am strong, and I am kind. And that's what I want people to know me as a person. Because things like social media posts, likes, and materialistic objects like a new car or a new phone, that's stuff that can be easily replaced. But a kind, gentle spirit in life, I mean, you may find only one person who's like that. So, so you may need to go back over everything that you have, and I don't mean, and I don't mean all those shoes that you may have in your closet. Um, I would go over the people who have been a positive influence on you, who have made you who you are. And even though this can be hard for a lot of people, you can also try to remember the people who had a negative influence on you, because in a little way, the bullying that I went through in middle school is what impacted my career choice. Initially, I wanted to work as a creative writer and publish my work, but after what happened and realizing I had no support system in the school, I realized that I wanted to work in the counseling field, giving my patients what they may not have in their life is a support system. And that's what I try to do as a peer mentor on campus to the first year students who come from different states, different countries, and different lifestyles, because even though all these lifestyles are different from what I went through, I understand it because I understand the emotional mindset that they went through. So that's just why um, you don't need to live your life by just a label. A label is just part of who you are. I mean, as long as you set your mind, your heart, and your soul to a certain goal in life, you'd be surprised at what you can achieve. Thank you.